Hi guys, this is Greg Doyle for Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat. It is prediction time. Fight I want to talk to you guys about takes place Saturday the 8th of May. It is for the Unified Super Middleweight World Championship. It is between Canelo Alvarez, who is 55-1-2, and he takes on Billy Joe Saunders, who is 30-0. Guys, thank you very much for coming back to view another video. As always in these videos, as you know, I will give you a brief background into both guys' careers. I will give you my keys to victory, and finally I will give you my prediction. So let's start off with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, as I say, is 55-1-2. He just seems to get better with age, doesn't he? He's coming off of the routine knockout win over Avni Yildirim. He's then got the really impressive one-sided points decision over Callum Smith. He's got really good names on his record like Gennady Golovkin. Personally for me, I thought that he just lost the first fight. I believe that he won the second fight. And the only blemishes really on the record is to Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, he was a young kid when he fought Floyd Mayweather. I don't really feel we can look into that too much. He was very early 20s. He was killing himself to make 154. Mayweather does what he does. He made the fight at 152. And, you know, I think that it was just one of those fights. It was just at the wrong time in the career of Canelo to be taking that fight. But I suppose he couldn't really knock it back, could he? But he takes on Billy Joe Saunders, who, as I say, is 30-0, coming off of the really good points victory over Martin Murray. Before that, he's got the patchy performance, I would say, against Caceres of Argentina, where it was a bit of a nip and tuck fight. He ended up, he found a way to get Caceres out of there in the 11th round, but in typical Billy Joe Saunders fashion, he made really hard work of it. He's got good wins over guys like David Lemieux, Willie Monroe, Chris Eubank Jr., a fight that I think was razor close, and I think some people tend to forget that in Billy Joe Saunders' career, but for me, that's the most entertaining fight of his career so far. For me, was that fight with Chris Eubank. But guys, if I can move on to keys to victory in the fight, for me, for Canelo, I think he needs to apply educated pressure. Billy Joe Saunders is one of these guys that a lot of the time when he fights, you'll see people chasing him around the ring, but a lot of the time they don't seem to try and cut the ring off instead of chase him. For example, if Billy Joe Saunders steps to the left, step to the left with him, but step forward. And before you know it, it'll get to a point where he's against the ropes, or he's in a corner, and then you need to let your hands go, something that Canelo is very good at. So for me, it's educated pressure and let power shots go against Billy Joe Saunders when he's backed up. Keys to victory for Billy Joe Saunders. It's tough. I think that he does need to look at the Mayweather fight, and I know that a lot of people, me including at the beginning of this video, saying that you can't look into that fight too much because he was a young kid. He's so much better now, but boxing ability is boxing ability, and if you can outbox someone and stay out of trouble, then you're going to win the fight, providing that you don't get caught. So for me, he needs to box and change angles. He can't just go back in straight lines, go side to side the way that he does, because it's not going to work in this fight. He needs to throw out a nice jab, roll under Canelo's shots, choose when to throw, tie Canelo up, and just be really clever like Billy Joe Saunders does. But guys, over and on to prediction time. I always try and keep personal feelings out of these videos and stay impartial. And I think that's why I've got such a high success ratio with these videos. But I've just never bought into the Billy Joe Saunders hype. I still don't. I mean, yeah, he looked fantastic against David Lemieux, but David Lemieux's style was made for Billy Joe Saunders. Quite slow-footed, not fast hand speed. Billy Joe Saunders probably had a bit of fear in his belly going into that fight. When you've got a bit of fear, it can make you perform so much better. I just look at fights like Artur Akavov, even Martin Murray to an extent, Caceres. He's just been such an up and down fighter all through his career, and I'm so fed up hearing people say, oh, it needs to be a big fight and you'll see the best Billy Joe Saunders. Well, he's got the biggest fight in boxing now, so let's see how good he really is. But for me, I just see Canelo knocking him out. I do. I just think if Sufi can hurt Saunders, if Caceres can hurt Saunders, Canelo can definitely hurt Billy Joe Saunders. I think Billy Joe Saunders is a good fighter, but I just believe he's massively overrated in this country. But, you know, good luck to the guy. Would I be disappointed with Britain having another unified world champion? Absolutely not. But for me, guys, I just see a Canelo Alvarez routine win in this fight. And I see him having one or two sticky moments that he might have to work out a jigsaw puzzle. But when he does, I just think I can just see him taking Billy Joe Saunders apart. So my prediction for Saturday, the 8th of May, is for Canelo Alvarez to beat Billy Joe Saunders. Guys, Greg Doyle, Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat. Check out all of our social platforms. Please subscribe down below, and I'll be back to speak to you guys again soon. Thank you.